What's going on, PE 555? This is Zachary Perez, and this is my Pelada debrief video response for this week. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. The first thing that I saw as a sociological issue regarding the film was, how sports and opportunity were basically funneled through money, throughout the film. There's definitely a lot of instances where, soccer was inaccessible unless you had enough cash to play in some countries. And, that kind of just takes away the idea of, a person with the passion, with the work ethic to get that opportunity to become a professional athlete if they have it. But, it limits them when they kind of don't have the funds to do so. And I think the biggest place that kind of took place in was Europe. They have the system where they kind of, funnel all their top players, but you kind of have to have money to do it. So, um, just finding that out and realizing that money plays a vital part in a game that doesn't really require much other than a few pebbles and a few players and a ball. So, in regards to the world we live in now, I think it's it's a pretty prevalent thing even in the United States. I know in terms of basketball, there's so many club teams and club coaches and club organizations are charging so much to give your kid exposure, to get them the best competition they can go against. And, I definitely think that kind of takes away from, the value of high school and public sports or recreational sports. And, a lot of those things kind of just limit athletes and limit the families that can afford to pay for those, travel expenses. The second thing I found was that was a sociological issue was obviously sports and women. Um, I think just throughout the world, um, women are kind of seen as individuals that should be taking care of the house and taking care of the children and, being in the kitchen and supporting the family through food and care. And I just think, it kind of states a little bit of in the textbook, in our community, we lost a lot of female coaches to child rendering. Obviously, in a lot of other countries, married women are less likely to play sports because they have to, look after, the little kid. And I think women are held to a higher standard in regards to, looking after their kid than the men does. So the men kind of are able to pursue that dream a little bit better. And you kind of see this throughout the film when Waldolin, I think that's how you say her name, goes out and plays pickup. And whenever she makes a move past a guy, like the people go crazy and they're like, wow, women actually have the ability to do this. And I think that speaks volumes on, some cultures just not realizing the potential that women have in sports to coach sports and, just do the things that men can ultimately do sometimes. So I think, women and their place in society around the world kind of limits them. And yeah, it was pretty prevalent in the film. The last thing that I saw was obviously sports and social class. I think Coakley states it how society, social class, and class relations influence who plays and who watches. A lot of the time, I think around even in America, a lot of people aren't given the opportunity to play sports or develop that work ethic to play sports because of their upbringings. Sometimes both parents have to work, so the kid can't participate in after school activities because he's got to look after the little brother. And it all depends on, where we're born and how we're raised. Um, I think there's, little instances where, some kids can be the exception. There's professional athletes that obviously come from nothing and they have a big influence back in their hometowns. And I think one instance in the video was when they interviewed Carlos Tavaz, and he mentioned how one of his heroes, came out of a place similar to his, and that gave him inspiration. Um, and I think just hearing that and knowing that the opportunities are limited, through social class and through society, kind of is a sociological issue. Once again, it shows that sports are limited to those people that have the access to it, or that rank among social classes. If your parents aren't have a high enough income to support the family, they can't really get them into after school programs. So those were the three sociological issues that I came across. Um, would you have made any different decisions than they did as they encountered the ethical issues and situations? Um, Honestly, no. I really liked how they didn't just travel the world and look at the professional side of things. I think the idea of going to pickup games instead of organized games kind of really showed them and showed us those aspects, those cultural aspects of the lower class compared to the social norm that we see sports to be. um, I don't think that gets enough attention, and their ability to go around the world and show that not everyone gets that opportunity is really enlightening. And I think it kind of just shows light on issues that we have as a country as well. So um, I wouldn't change any of their decisions. That's my response for this week, and I hope you guys have a good week. And I'm looking forward to what you guys have to say.